David Selig, Bradley Doran. Welcome.
Thanks for having us.
You are Selig and Associates, New York's premier tax representation and advocacy firm. Tell us a little bit about your practice.
We represent businesses and individuals with controversies, problems, before the IRS and State.
Okay. Anything else, David, you can add to that?
Most certainly.
Yeah.
Given the economy right now, a lot of businesses are having problems with their payroll withholdings.
Yeah.
The expectation is that they may borrow from these withholdings and make it up the next quarter.
Ooh.
Maybe a vendor is slow to pay.
Sure.
And as my learned colleague says, the best laid schemes of mice and men,
Yeah.
it snowballs, and before you know it, a legitimate businessman or woman can find themselves in a great deal of trouble.
Right. Now, I know you represent businesses as well as individuals. Explain to us what the initial consultation would be like when somebody comes to see you for the first time.
Well, we offer a free consultation to both businesses and individuals. Oftentimes it's as much for us as it is for the clients. We like to ascertain what the facts are, what the situation is, and see if there really is something that we can do to help them.
You know, I have to interject.
Yeah.
It's very important that we meet with each and every client personally, because not everybody has a real case. They may have a problem, but an integral component may be missing, and there's really very little that can be done for them.
Yeah.
We can usually within 15 minutes to a half an hour marshal the facts and come up with a plan how we'll start. So it is very important, and that's one of the services that we're very proud of.
Now, many of your clients are experiencing tax problems to the extent that they feel that the problem is ruining their lives.
So true.
What do you do to help them get their lives back at the beginning? Okay. Dave?
Initially, an individual may be having their wages garnished. Maybe their bank account has been levied. There may be some other problems. What we do is we complete a document called the Power of Attorney form that allows us to represent them before either the state or the Fed. We contact those agencies and we attempt to get an immediate release, if possible.
If possible.
Give them a little breathing room.
Get them off their backs.
That's
so to
exactly
speak,
right. But I have to
to a point.
I really have to be very clear on this. There's no silver bullet. In
Yeah,
other words,
sure.
if you're a complete rogue, your recourse may be limited.
Right. But
That applies, I'm
yeah.
sorry to
Go
interrupt,
ahead.
that applies to businesses as well. Many businesses that fall into those issues are threatened by closure. The IRS especially and the state look to close down businesses that are having extreme tax issues. One thing that we try and do for business owners is to help them keep their business open while we're helping them resolve their tax issue. It keeps money on the table, it keeps the food on the table for their employees.
Keeps their livelihood going.
Exactly, and it keeps that goodwill with their customers.
Is it true that most often people with serious tax issues tend to ignore notices from the state and IRS? I find that hard to believe, but that's what the statistics say. Is that true?
Absolutely.
We see it all the time.
It's going to go away.
Right.
They hope.
We see individuals and business owners come in with stacks and bags of unopened envelopes that they didn't throw away, but they didn't open. They were afraid to open them. They thought the situation might resolve
Hiding it
itself.
from their wives,
Exactly.
hiding
I
it
would
from their
think,
husbands,
sure.
rushing home to get to that mailbox before the spouse, living a lie. And under
and
that
a
type of
nightmare.
pressure, they just can't think clearly. You'd be surprised how often a tax problem then can be the catalyst to a divorce or the dissolution of a business partnership.
I would think.
Any number of things, and it really doesn't have to be that way because you have rights, but those rights have to be asserted. And a lot of people, they feel that the government is somehow looking out after their best interests. That is patently untrue.
I did read that you deal occasionally, and explain what this term means, offering compromise. I wasn't sure what that meant.
Okay. That right now is a phrase that's being bandied about by a lot of these out-of-state companies.
Okay.
The idea is that you can settle your debt for a lesser amount. Now, I want to be very clear about this. The government does not just let you make a lowball offer and let you off the hook.
Right.
You have to meet their criteria. And if you look at the forms, they are deceptively complex. Mr. Doran, you've had extensive experience in this. Why don't you?
That's correct. The tool of an offer in compromise really only works in very, very limited circumstances. And as Mr. Selig said, some of these out-of-town companies, these factories, offer only offers in compromise to anybody that calls them without getting the facts, without doing the discovery. That gets back to our initial consultation and understanding the facts and circumstances of a particular taxpayer situation.
Now, you also represent an array of businesses. Is it true that current tax laws, rules, and compliances can trip up even the savviest business owner?
Absolutely. You know,
So we all think we know what's going on and we know the tax laws, but they're changing all the time.
I've seen that in my own family.
Okay.
I have to tell you, I
Yeah.
have family members, and they were involved in a real estate transaction, and they spoke to a friend who was a CPA who was very knowledgeable, but he had already retired, and he was relying on what was applicable previously.
Back then.
And the unintended consequence of that was in excess of $20,000.
Yeah.
And there were also penalties, interest, and everything that went with it.
Remember, we specialize in tax representation.
Sure.
This is all that we do. It's a
Right.
very
That's a good
narrow area, but once you get into it and do it on a daily basis, you realize the breadth of the Internal Revenue Code and all of the laws and rules of procedure that apply here. We don't do anything else but this.
What are your philosophies in dealing with your clients? Your overall philosophy would be what?
Full disclosure and constant communication.
And that's important.
We want to get the full and complete story. We want to understand and delve into all of the facts and circumstances through the discovery process, oftentimes a freedom of information request, so we can really get to the bottom of the facts and deal on the facts.
Tell us about your location, because it's a great location, where you're located, and generally, how does somebody who needs your representation get in touch with you? Let's talk about the location first.
We're in Midtown Manhattan. We're at 450 7th Avenue, right at the corner of 7th Avenue and 34th Street, next to Penn Station, very easily accessible by public transportation.
Sure.
We have, as we've discussed, the opportunity to come in for a free consultation. Can always reach us on the telephone, 212-974-3435.
What was that number?
212-974-3435.
And don't forget the
Mr.
website.
Right.
And the website is truetaxhelp.com.
That's a great website.
Now, as far as getting in touch with us,
Yes.
just pick up the telephone.
That's the way to do it.
Give
Not
us a
through the
call.
internet. Pick up the phone. Don't be shy.
We have a live operator 24 hours a day, so if it's an emergency and it's 12 o'clock on a Saturday night, you will get a live person. In many cases, we have same-day appointments.
Really?
We do no longer have the weekend appointments. We're both family men.
Of course.
But we will take care of your needs
And
presently.
if they call this week, they get free tickets to the Knick games?
We're all out of those.
Well, I just want to say one more time, David Selig and Bradley Doran, thank you so much for stopping by today. You are the New York's premier tax representation
Thank you.
and advocacy firm, and continue all the good work.
Thank you.
Pleasure having you here today.
Thanks for having us.
You bet.